Welcome back to Car-Pinionated, our weekly show, slightly irreverent show about cars, the car industry, and driving in general. I'm Doug Stewart, Senior Digital Content Producer at Fox 61 in Hartford. This is my friend Glenn Packman, who is an improv comedy stylist and a car enthusiast. Glenn, we're going to talk about the new Dodge Charger EV, which is not just an EV.
Not anymore, apparently,
That's
right?
right.
The EV is going to be first,
Right.
and then they're going to be introducing a gas engine, which is sort of going in the opposite direction, but
Yeah.
who's to judge? Yeah. Can we talk about this?
Yes, yes. So by way of introduction, you will our loyal viewers will remember that last month we talked about the Chrysler Halcyon, which is another vehicle that um, Chrysler Stellantis is putting out. This is the opposite of the Halcyon.
Yes, yes.
Well, Glenn, tell us why you think it's the opposite of the Halcyon.
Well, because it looks like something that I would personally kill somebody to drive. That's why I would commit murder to, all right, I would contemplate anyways. No, that the Halcyon is this slew of bad ideas all thrown together at one car, and somebody went, "Isn't it cool?" And it's not. Then there's the new Charger, which is just cool because it's almost simple in its styling, but there's this insane focus and elegance and it's really retro, but it looks like something from 10 years down the road.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful car. All of the proportions are exactly right. And I was kind of sad when I heard that the Challenger was going to be no longer produced by Chrysler. And I was like, well, it's a beautiful car. It just every time one went down the road, I always thought to myself, wow,
I
they did
always do
a
that.
terrific job.
Yeah.
They did a terrific job. Exactly.
Yeah.
They did such a great job designing
Yeah.
that car. Well, here's the replacement, and it's even better by a
Yeah.
wide margin. It is a gorgeous car. I have to find out if it drives half as good as it looks, because if it does, this thing is just Chrysler perpetually needs that one car to sort of lift it out of the doldrums.
Exactly.
They had the minivan in the 80s. They had the 300, which was a huge hit. This could be it for them. I'm hoping. I'm hoping so. I have a soft spot for Chrysler. I owned a Pacifica. We owned the recent 200, the last 200 model they made, which was really a beautiful car with a horrible transmission, which I've talked about in a past episode. But really not a bad car. We still have it in the family. It's still operating. It's still quite beautiful. The 200 doesn't even hold a candle to how good looking this car is.
Yeah. Yeah. The way it's thought about, like that whole, it has the traditional Dodge grill, but most of it is open and goes up, the airflow goes under that little wing and up the hood. It's got presence, this is always something thinking, like it's got presence. It feels fixed in space with those big tires and stuff like that. And the Frat Zog, which I think it's a beautiful logo, that tri thing. I actually like the 4-door better than the 2-door.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna defer on that one.
Okay.
I think I like the 2-door better, but I mean,
yeah, there's something, and it's growing on me, but there's something about the proportions of from the B pillar to the C pillar. But hey, the big picture is the front end looks great, the back end looks great, those chunky tires, it will come with it like any Dodge product of late, comes in a variety of different flavors. Cinnamon, no, it comes in the SRT Banshee, which is a 456 horsepower EV, the Scat Pack, which is a 630 horsepower EV, that gets about 300 miles on a battery. Those are coming out this year, this summer. That's what they're saying. They go on sale. Those are both two doors. And then coming next year is a Hurricane 6. It's an inline six-cylinder engine, which is a brand new engine, my understanding. And that will have 420 horsepower, I believe, if I'm
Mhm.
looking at my notes. This is on the STLA platform, Stellantis company-wide platform. Like I said, the four doors coming down the road. One of the interesting quotes that I found when I was researching this is, somebody from Dodge said, "No one knows the fuel economy of their muscle car." So, none of it's sucking down gas or sucking
Yeah,
down volts, but it's a hell of a car, hell of a
yeah,
car.
yeah.
Um,
I hate to say it because it's probably not politically correct, but it might be smart of them to introduce the gas version because there are still a core of people out there who have no faith in electrical cars. Yeah, they really don't. Uh, I see memes all the time of people bashing electric cars that they catch on fire and they're not worth a plug nickel and I'll never own one and that all that thinking. But so good for Chrysler to introduce a muscle car with a muscle engine that runs off gas. I would frankly be much more interested in the electric version just because it's the way of the future, obviously. So, but I mean, either way, just the package is amazing. I'm praying that the car drives nice. I just
yeah.
really,
The the early versions of this when they were showing them, it would have been 22. When I think that's when we first talked about it. In one of our
yeah,
very earliest shows, we talked about this car, and they had, one of the things that they said was that they were going to pipe um, engine sounds through the speakers
right.
out, so it would drive by and it would sound like an internal combustion car. I don't know if they're still going to do that. I think that's okay. Well, good
Yeah,
idea. I hope you can turn it off.
right,
Uh, but until I buy the car, then I won't worry about it.
right.
But I think it's wise of them to. I look at like the way BMW has modeled their vehicles in that they're building them both EV and ICE, so
Mhm.
they're doing both and it's kind of the same platform. There's obviously differences between them. I think that's a smarter way to do it. That's the way Ford had done it for a while with,
Yeah.
EV focus in vans, the little, what do they call the C-Max?
Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, uh, and obviously that's what they do with the F-150. I mean, you know, it's an EV built off of, way built off of, internal combustion platform engine.
Right.
Um, we'll see. I mean, it's got good response. People seem to be liking it.
Yeah.
I would echo what Jeff said a couple weeks ago when we were talking about it, and he was like, you should put that on a stand at a car show, and people be
Hmm.
flocking around it.
Hmm.
Maybe you take it on the road. Maybe you bring it different places. I don't know.
Sure. Sure.
I don't know.
Make it a thing. I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm gonna say that I'm looking at a picture off to the side, by the way. Uh, I'm pleased with the amount of greenhouse that there is on this car because the last muscle car I drove was a Camaro in its latest form, and there's like this much window, and it's like driving in a tank. I mean,
Yeah.
it's slits of vision, and as somebody who has been driving an upright car that sits a little bit off the road for how many years now? Like
Mm,
that's kind of what I'm used to. And so to go back to this little, it was, and PS, there were a lot of problems with the Camaro. It's not a great car to drive. It's wildly uncomfortable. It's got the choppiest ride. It just it yeah. I know that forgive me, Camaro fans. It was kind of interesting to look at,
yeah.
but I would not want to get in this thing on a daily basis.
Yeah.
That's test of a good car for me is do I, okay, it's fun. It might be fast. It might turn a lot of heads, but I got to drive this thing on a daily basis.
Right.
Is this that kind of car?
You,
You know?
you have to own it. You
Yeah.
have to,
Exactly.
good, bad, and different. All that stuff is going to come out, you know?
Right. Right. Right.
And
Because yeah, I don't have the garage space or the capital to have that spare car. Someday we have friends that just got um, the hardtop Miata, and
yeah,
boy,
yes,
in a metallic red, and God, what a
yes,
beautiful car!
yeah,
And
yeah.
they just not too long ago bought a garage that has a third bay, and they could do it, so they did, and they
Mhm.
drive it on weekends and everything, and good for them. Someday I would like
Yeah.
to get there, and that's what a car like a Camaro, or
Mhm.
a muscle car or whatever is good for. In the meantime, I'd still like it to be a good driver's car. There, I don't think there's enough market left for people with a fun weekend car anymore.
It's interesting now that, when I'm thinking about it, how, you know, the the Challenger went up against the Mustang and outsold the Mustang, right?
Mhm.
And it was largely unchanged for 10 years or more, right?
Right.
And probably close to 15. I'd have to look that up. And then this comes along and you have Mustang in this, like, the part of Mustang is, we are making internal combustion engine cars until the end of time. This is, this
Yeah.
is our mission, this is our goal, this is where we're heading, right? Oh, but we also have this
Right.
SUV over here, which we call a Mustang, which kind of looks like a Mustang, and but it's an EV, and but it handles really well.
Mhm.
So we're kind of doing both things, and the new Charger is that same thing. Like,
Yeah.
well, here's our EV, and it's great, and it's cool, and it does all this stuff. But by the way, if you don't like that, we can still get you a 6-cylinder engine, you
Right.
know,
And a big one at that. Right.
and a
Right.
big one at that. Yeah, I didn't see the how big the engine was in my quick looking at it, but I'm reminded of my favorite inline 6-cylinder engine of all time, which was the 4-liter in the Jeep XJ
Mhm.
and several other Wrangler products.
Quoting Car and Driver,
Mhm.
the Charger six pack will come with two versions of the company's Hurricane twin turbo 3.0-liter inline six,
Right.
producing either 420 or 550 horsepower. That ain't chump change.
No.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That is very respectable for a six, especially.
Right. Right.
And there are
Yeah.
people who gripe, oh, well, you got to have 8 cylinders to get really that robust sound. But
Okay. Yeah.
I, not nearly as impressive, but along the same lines, our recent Kia Sorento had a 290 horsepower six in it. And I have to say, when you hit the gas on that car, it definitely gave you this throaty sound
Mhm.
that was really, it was very pleasant. It was it
Yeah.
was an it was an it was an adrenaline releaser. It just
Yeah.
it gave you that combustion engine sound that meant business, and I always loved the car for that. It certainly knew how to hustle. It was a good car.
Yeah.
Um, just we sold it during the pandemic because we didn't need a third car, and we made a mint because the market was so high at that point. We made money on our Sorrento, a lot of it, and I was like, you know how is this even possible, and yet we did it. So
There you go.
it made good
So,
financial sense, but I do
so,
miss the
so
car. Miss the
sometimes
car.
you win. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
hey,
My Mopar experience, I drove two different Challengers, one blue and one orange-ish. Well, no, sorry, one blue, one purple.
mhm,
And not very far from here, there is where two highways come together. One of them has a couple tunnels going in one direction. It has a couple longish, not they're long tunnels for Connecticut, you know. Um, and we were going along there, and my friend Mike, who was with me, who's an automotive journalist, uh, he said, roll down the windows here, and when you get to that point right there, punch it. And as you went into the tunnel, that echoing of that V8,
Sure.
it was like, it was
Sure.
crazy. It was crazy. A lot of, great automotive experience. But,
Yeah, that's an incredibly gratifying thing. I don't care who you are. Yeah.
What we call around here the handy highway.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Yeah.
anyone else calls it. My brother Jeff always called it that. It's the handy highway.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. When
Yeah,
I grew
you
up here,
do.
that didn't exist, and boy, was it a nuisance. So
Yeah.
back then, it was the highway to nowhere because it had a
Right.
middle, no beginning, and no end. You
Right.
know?
Yeah. If you wanted to get from Bolton Notch
Right.
to
To the
East
shop right in
Hartford.
Manchester. Yeah. Perfect. Great. Thank you. Yeah, I used to have to take that, get off at the end of it, and then take Silver Lane through East Hartford, and then get back on
Back
84.
on the
And
highway. Yep.
boy, was that a royal pain in the
Yeah.
ass. The days
Yeah.
that I don't miss.
Yeah.
So yeah, just
Glenn,
yeah,
we're old.
I know. I know. Let me tell you about the old highways.
Because they
Making fun
connected
of old
that.
people, but I am one. So hey,
Yeah, they connected that in like 1986. So
yeah,
just see.
seems like yesterday, but it's
Yeah,
still a new highway to me. So.
yeah, exactly. So, well, nostalgia. Our little trip to Nostalgiaville has been fun.
There you go.
But we're going to bring this episode to a close. Uh, if you're so inclined, our loyal viewers, would you be interested? If you'd be interested, to send us a picture of that weird car that you love that no one else gets,
Right.
no one else understands,
Mhm.
and why it means something to you. You can send us a short video under a minute. You can send us some words if you want to go through, but if hopefully send us a picture, your picture of that car. Don't send us something that you got from the internet someplace because we can't use it. But if you own this weird car, send it along. If you know somebody who owns it, send it along, or just explain yourself of why you like this specific car. That would be great. We'd like to get some folks, some of our loyal fans to give us some information. Our loyal fans.
Our loyal fans. Shoot it like this, not like this. Shoot it like
Exactly.
that's the drill.
Right, because that's actual television, how television works.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for us. Oh, send it to dstewart@fox61.com. Leave a comment in the YouTube if you like what you see. We have plenty of other episodes on our YouTube page. Like and subscribe, that helps us out. And we will see you next time.